Hey Facebook, it's Lindsay. It is Wednesday afternoon and I am sitting here in the office. I am actually in my office today, which is super exciting, and wanted to touch base with you guys and do this week's installment of the Good to Knows with Touchdown Home Pros. So we have been talking a lot to sellers, buyers, potential home owners or current homeowners about what they need to do or what we look for, what makes our job easier as realtors. So one thing that we thought about for today's topic with the Good to Knows with Touchdown Home Pros is what you need to be thinking about as fall and winter approaches and what you can do with your home so you are ready for those seasons. Nothing is worse when we as realtors go into a house and see a ton of deferred maintenance items that really would have taken a Saturday morning or a Saturday afternoon, cost very little money, but just haven't been done because they do take time. And trust me, I don't want to be thinking about winter. I feel like I lost a good portion of my summer trying to get the glare off my face. Better. Okay, so what we are trying to do is look at the things you can do now to prepare yourself for fall and winter. And although this week has been beautiful with wonderful beautiful blue skies and about 80-degree temperatures, those of you in North Central West Virginia realize that Morgantown's hot. North Central West Virginia is hot. 80 degrees in the middle 1st of August is pretty cool. So I know a lot of you are probably also winding down from vacations or getting in your last minute vacations before kids start back to school next week. Oh, it's next week already. But some people in North Central West Virginia are sending their kids back to school as we speak or this week. So let's look. What can we do? What can we say for deferred maintenance issues? If you are just joining us, we're looking at the fall and the winter schedule and what you can do to make sure that your house is ready for the winter. And so when you are ready to sell that house, we don't have a ton of items or issues that we have to talk about that were just mainly deferred maintenance issues. So everyone knows that you spring clean, right? When it starts to get warm, everyone gets excited. They open their windows. That's usually when people clean their windows, clean their screens, clean their, check their screens for holes and things like that, wipe down their walls, wipe down their baseboards. But if you ask any cleaning expert, they're going to tell you the fall is the time to pull your refrigerator out and clean behind it. When was the last time you did it? Honestly. Anyone? I know. You just don't. You don't think about it. Well, your refrigerator and the longevity of your refrigerator will be longer and will work better if you do pull it out, clean the dust and all the dust bunnies out from under it, get whatever crayons, little balls, all the things that roll under refrigerators out, and clean that filter on the front of your refrigerator. Also, fall and spring are both times to replace filters. So most all refrigerators nowadays have a filter for the ice maker or the water. So you're going to want to make sure that you go ahead and replace those filters and go ahead and order a new one now. So when that next season comes, you have it. You're always one step ahead on that. Gutters. How many of you clean your gutters? Pay someone to clean your gutters. You need to clean the gutters. It is no fun when we get to a house and there's trees growing out of the gutters. Those little maple tree things that fly all over the place, they get in there and they create trees, little saplings in your gutters. The other day I was sitting on my back porch and we had had a ton of rain and a bird was actually bathing itself in my gutters and throwing stuff out of it, and I thought, I can't wait till fall. These need cleaned. So get your gutters cleaned. Make sure that someone comes and checks all of the corner joints on your gutters. Make sure that nothing is leaking and that everything is draining properly, and make sure that your downspouts are draining away from your foundation. You'll want to do that sooner than later, and then you're also going to want to go ahead and do your gutter cleaning again. Leaves fall. You know, it's almost time for the colors to come in North Central West Virginia, and although it's beautiful and although we love it, the problem that we have is a ton of leaves fall in our gutters. Then winter comes, and then all of those leaves retain ice and the water, and then it freezes and it gets heavier and can pull your gutters off the house. So go ahead and make sure that you make arrangements to have your gutters cleaned early fall, and then possibly again have it looked at again in November before our first snow and before the freeze. Furnace filters. This is a 2-time-a-year change. If you just remember, you want to make sure that you have your furnace filters to change. Some people will tell you once a quarter, but at least every other year. Every other year, goodness gracious, twice a year. Change those furnace filters. It's good for your system. And while we're speaking about furnace filters and HVAC systems, it's a good idea to get them on a maintenance schedule with a company. I know a lot of companies actually do that kind of system, like McAtee, they do it. Kevin Rose with Mountain Air LLC does it. So make sure that you are getting into some sort of a service agreement with an HVAC professional who can come and check your furnace. Make sure that it's ready to go, that you don't have any slow leaks, that everything looks good, that your furnace filter is changed, that nothing's backed up. And you'll also want to do that in the spring with your air conditioning. So if you get on that service agreement with a company, they can come out twice a year. Make sure that you have enough Freon for your air conditioning or your refrigerant in your air conditioning unit. And in the fall, ask the HVAC person, is my AC unit outside? Do I need to cover it? Do I need to do anything with it before winter? Most of us leave them alone and they just sit there with snow. But if you ask someone, they tell you probably you need to wrap it with a tarp. If it's not a heat pump, if it's not used during the winter months, you probably need to cover it up and keep the snow out of it. It'll last a little bit longer. Smoke detector batteries twice a year. So if you think about it, you can do it in the spring and the fall, or at some point 6 months apart, and go ahead and make sure that you oh, the phone's ringing. Make sure that you have those batteries changed in your smoke detector. Even if it's hardwired, they still beep and beep and beep when the battery goes low, because that is your backup system, even if they are hardwired. Light bulbs. You know, my dad used to spend Saturday mornings walking around the house changing light bulbs. Inevitably, there are going to be bulbs out in your house. Spend an hour here and there and change your light bulbs. When people come and see your house, they want to be able to see your house. So make sure that you are keeping up with light bulb changes and that you are changing the bulbs frequently. Or when they go out. I had a maintenance man actually tell me one time that if you put the same light bulbs in, it might in fact have a light fixture that loses all 5 bulbs at one time. They all go bad at the same time because they were all put in at the same time. So just make sure that you have all the bulbs in your house. It's a good time to inventory to make sure you have it, but go through your house and just take a morning and change the light bulbs that aren't working in your house. It's nice to turn the light on the subject anyway. Fall landscaping items. Of course, you know you're going to have to go out there and rake leaves, but there are other things you need to do with your landscaping before the fall and the winter actually hit. Fall is the time that you plant some plants for bloom in the spring. I'm going to tell you, I don't have a green thumb, but I know this to be fact. So if you know plants that you want to bloom in the spring, check. Figure out when the best time you need to plant those is. And a lot of them are actually going to be in the fall. Also, what do you need to do with your flowers that bloom every year? Do you need to cut them back? Do you need to trim them down to the ground? Do you need to leave them alone? Is this the time to trim your hedges off your walkways? Is this the time to edge your sidewalks? Things like that. Ask your landscape professional, Google it, figure it out, but spend the time to do what you need to do with your landscaping in the fall. Concrete. If you have concrete sidewalks, entryways, porches, patios, anything like that that's concrete, driveways, or even blacktop, now is the time, or fall and right before winter is the time to look for cracks or imperfections in your concrete or in your blacktop, and make sure that you don't have anything that you need to put a quick skill in there. What you want to do is make sure that any of those cracks are filled, so if they get water in them and they freeze, they're not going to expand and cause further damage to your driveway, walkways, patios, and porches. Now is the time to check for those little imperfections and go and get a little can of Quikrete and fix those now before the winter has time to ruin your concrete at your home. Dryer vents. Who remembers to clean their dryer vent? It's so important, not just inside between the dryer and the wall, but also to go outside to the dryer vent and pull that out from that side as well, and pull all of the lint out. If you do it in the fall, you've just made sure to remember that you've done this at least once a year. I really recommend your dryer vent cleaning be a 2-time-a-year thing, probably fall and spring, but you do want to make sure to put this on the list. Home inspectors look for it, so even if you think that you're not going to have to do it, as a deferred maintenance item, this is one that we see quite a bit. Bird nest also in dryer vents on the exterior. Check. Make sure that in the spring and summer you haven't had a nice little critter have residency in your dryer vent or in that exterior on your house. Now's the time to check to make sure that it is free and clear of all debris. And lastly, you also, I'm looking at my list, I have a cheat sheet so I didn't forget to tell you guys anything that I've thought of. You also want to make sure to drain your exterior water sources. So anywhere you have garden hoses and things like that, it's time to drain those when it starts to get cooler and put them up for the season. Don't forget to do that as a fall or early winter. You do it before early winter, but when you're done with your water supply outside for the season, go ahead and drain those pipes and detach your garden hose from them and store it for the winter. Why do we do this? The last thing you want is for those pipes to freeze and cause water damage inside your house. And it's super easy to happen if those lines aren't drained when they're on the exterior of your home. And who knows what kind of winter we're going to have. Rumor has it it's going to be a little cooler, and last winter was so mild, so a lot of people are bracing for a much different winter this year. So we hope here at Touchdown Home Pros that we have been able to shed some light on some things that we see when we come into your property to list, so that you are ready and don't have the deferred maintenance items that can cause damage and other costly ticket items when it's time to sell your house. Just a few little a couple hours of your time to make sure that your house is taken care of, and our job will be easier when it's time to sell. If you have any questions about what we've talked about here, feel free to put it in the comments, or you can always contact any of our associates here at the office at 304-322-4101 to ask any questions about what maybe you need to do, or if you're looking at a remodel project or a fall winter project to get your house ready for the market in early spring. Please call us. We'd love to come walk through the house. We can definitely get someone there to tell you where your time and money is best spent. I hope you all have had a wonderful week since we saw you last time, and please keep those questions coming. If you have any ideas of topics you'd like to hear me talk about or any of the other associates in the office talk about, please feel free to email us or continue to be a member of our online Facebook community at tdhomepros.com. We love that you've joined us for this Good to Knows with Touchdown Home Pros, and we hope you're enjoying this beautiful, beautiful blue sky day here in North Central West Virginia. Oh, one question just came in. So, I will definitely make sure to put that on topic for next week. If anyone has any other questions, though, drop what you'd like to see us talk about in the comments, and definitely keep us posted on how your fall and winter preparation comes about. Thank you guys for joining us. Like always, I appreciate it, and hopefully we'll see you next week on Good to Knows with Touchdown Home Pros. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.